score.
Right, I'm glad we're clear about that. But yeah, I hope the 1895 Cup stays. I really do.
Hopefully without a decision like the Chris Brining try.
Well, yeah, I mean, these are these are the kind of things that happen at non-video referee games. Unfortunately, this was a non-video game that was also shot on the BBC, which is a weird kind of combination.
But it didn't have the production value of it was smaller. You could tell that when you were watching it, so probably didn't have all of the camera angles anyway, but we had enough camera angles to see that was dropped. I read someone said no, the ball was stolen in the act of scoring a try, which is allowed now in the rules, isn't it? And then the York player grounded it after that, but it still hit his arm about 3 times in that process.
Yeah.
So.
I do agree it was stolen, but I think probably the Fev player touched it down.
Yeah.
If that's the case, to kind of have it should have potentially been a dropout. But yeah, the better team won, although York come away with a lot of credit for me.
Mikey Lewis showed some really good stuff, I thought, for York. Something to be excited about for Hull KR fans, I think, as he continues to develop. But ultimately, overall, Brown and Chisholm were class, and that could be what takes Fev to promotion, that halfback pairing, because they are class.
They are very, very good. Yeah, I mean, I know all about Dane Chisholm and his abilities, but yeah, they're one of the top 2 teams in the Championship. Let's put it that way.
Let's whiz through a few Super League games that Fev will be aiming to play in next year. We've got 3 catch-up games that were played, so we won't spend too much on them, Al, but let's run through them.
Yep, so the first one we have to run through, it was, in a repeat of the week before, it was Catalan 27, Leeds 18. A game, Leeds against Catalan finally happens.
Yeah.
The cursed fixture happened. Leeds were 18-2 up at half-time again. Ben Thaler was the man in charge. Stats ultimately say this was a comfortable match for the Catalan. Nearly 500 more metres at a 1 metre per carry better average gain, twice as many breaks, 6-3, half as many penalties conceded, 6-12, and a 3.3% better team tackle success rate. A lot of those were racked up in that second half. For Catalan, it was Tom Davies with a try and 175 metres, Fuad Yaha with 148 metres and 2 clean breaks, Ben Garcia with 5 tackle busts at 148 metres, and Sam Cassiano with a try, 6 tackle busts, 124 metres and 2 clean breaks. For Leeds, it was Cam Smith with 2 try assists and 46 tackles, Conrad Harrell with 116 metres, 3 offloads. Harry Newman, is this his first game back? Or was he back?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, good to see Harry Newman back with 104 metres, and Tom Holdroyd worked very hard with 40 tackles. A couple of fan views on this one.
Yeah, Alan Walker said, Wino's made it after calling off so many times, twice. English ref back the English team, the cunt. Winos were dressed up like Wigan away in their mucky Ribena kit. Tried to play like them too, but just grubby enough. They're basically not very good all round. Still, it's a short walk over the motorway to the airport, and they'll be back in super sunny Yorkshire in time for supper before bedtime, poor things. It has been super sunny in Yorkshire, Alan.
It certainly has. It's very hot in this room. Mark Butler says, let's go overboard. I've been waiting for this Catalan team to start dying on its arse for weeks. God knows they've had more stellar teams throw in the towel when 16 points down early on. But this team is finding a way and probably should have won by more, despite being in a sticky situation at one point. Maybe signing a Welsh player has given them a winning mentality.
Well, is one of the group of players who have had, trophy success in their careers, I suppose, is one way to put it, because he was involved in the double side at Wigan in 2013, was Gill Dudson.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen the highlights of this one, but it does feel very much like a carbon copy of last week's game, doesn't it?
Yes. I watched this one on Saturday morning when I woke up, because I was at the Wigan game, and yeah, just if we're not going to go into too much detail on it, listen to what we said about the game last week. Apart from where we say James Maloney, just insert Josh Drinkwater, and then then we're done, aren't we, on this one?
The only thing I've noted from the highlights is that Drinkwater dropped one of the worst missed tries I think I've ever seen.
Yes, fair point. Yeah.
I mean, he was through. But yeah, I mean, Catalan were definitely the more cohesive and fluent in the second half. But yeah, it appears that they need to be face a bit of adversity before they pull the finger out at the moment. But they're still winning.
yeah, they're still on top. They're still going really well. Two teams not going as well, but one of them is winning again. Huddersfield versus Wigan. It was 8-0 to Wigan at half time. It could potentially have been more if the referee had adjudged a knock back by Innes Senior instead of a knock on that wasn't by Sam Halsall, but there you go. It finished 14-12 to Wigan though after Huddersfield mounted somewhat of a fight back in the second half. Scott Michalauskas was the referee. In terms of the stats, late in Al, but we got them eventually. Breaks were at a premium with only two by each side in the game. Wigan made more metres, a better average gain with fewer errors and fewer penalties conceded. The Giants had a slightly better tackle success rate, but stats on balance support the result. Individually, the man, the legend, the Ginger Pearl, Liam Farrell, 1 try, 43 tackles and 175 metres. Oliver Partington played the full 80. He should be getting a fucking cut of Tony Clubb's wages. 51 tackles. Liam Marshall, 175 metres, and Oliver Gildart, 1 try assist and 125 metres. For the losing Giants, Ash Golding, 147 metres. Nathan Peace, for a second game in a row, 1 try assist and 51 tackles. Leroy Cudjoe, 131 metres, and Luke Yates goes both ways, 42 tackles, 127 metres. There was a grade A charge for Amir Baru of the Wigan Warriors that carried a no match penalty notice for a shoulder charge. He was getting a bit feisty on some of the bigger blokes when he came on. It was his first Super League game of the season, and I think he wanted to get himself about. And there was a little bit of argy-bargy just before half-time between the two sides, pretty much on the hooter, actually. But otherwise, it was a game played in pretty reasonable spirit. We did get a fan view in. Matt Speakman said, pretty decent performance, all things considered. We had to get through this horror period with some wins, and we now have 2 in a row. Win next week, and I'll be happy. I think Wigan's discipline, again, was good in this game as well as it had been the week before. Their defence was better, improved again week on week, although Huddersfield way down in attacking weapons. And the try that Liam Farrell scored was a really, really well-worked piece of play between Harry Smith, Liam Farrell and Oliver Gildart that got that score. It was probably the only real sparkling piece of attacking play in the whole match. Will Price scored his first ever try. I don't know if you picked up on this from what you've seen of this, Al, but the Wigan fans watching on our league who weren't in attendance at the ground apparently were very miffed at the decidedly one-sided commentary that was being put on there by Leon Price, father of Will Price. But it was his first try. It was a really good try. He stepped Liam Farrell, which isn't, not a lot of people do that, and I think he caught a high shot from sort of desperation effort from Oliver Gildart as well, I think it was, or maybe Harry Smith, I can't quite remember, on his way through to score. So, it wasn't the greatest defensive moment for Wigan, but it was a good moment for the young kid and for his dad.
Yeah, you can't exactly blame him for being happy when he scores his first try. The one thing I noticed is that obviously defence. The Farrell try apart, I think the defence in the match wasn't brilliant. I think Clark's try in the first half, she'd never have scored that with the best will in the world.
Each side gave away a weak try. I think Clark probably had 5 men on him at one point.
Yeah, it was somewhat like that. Yeah.
And it's Mitch Clark. Leave him be, and he might get tired or drop the ball. But he didn't. He justified his selection for sure. And the one by Petteru as well was equally weak, really.
Yeah. But yeah, as you said, two teams were not in very good form, but at the end of the day, you've won back-to-back now. So
yeah, and Liam Farrell's still a god amongst men.
According to some.
There was another game, wasn't there, played at Warrington. Warrington is the Featherstone of the West.
Warrington is the Featherstone of the West. That sounds like a tourist. It's not really a recommendation, though.
It's not drawing anyone in other than rugby league fans. But look,
why was
have
it
ground will host. That's what they're saying.
Why was it played at Warrington? I don't understand that.
Some sort of stadium availability issue for the Salford Stadium.
All right, okay, fair enough. But anyway, so
it was a rearrange, wasn't it? So
yeah, fair enough. So this one, it finished Salford 24, Wakefield 14. It was 12 apiece at the break. Gareth Hewer was in charge at this one. I have no stats, but do we have some last-minute stats for this one, Mark?
We do. Salford made barely more metres and actually made them a worse average gain, but with 5 breaks to 3 and a 3.3% better team tackle success rate, Salford earned the win. Individually, Ken Seo had a try in 192 metres. I think he got the man of steel points as well. Paulie had a try assist, 11 tackles and 122 metres. Ryan Lannon had 105 metres and so did Rhys Williams. For the losing Wakefield side, Lee Kershaw had 169 metres. Liam Kay had a try assist in 137 metres. Innes Senior had a try in 120 metres and Kalepi Tanganoa had 113 metres. Nothing from the disciplinary, nothing from the fan views, and the only highlight I'd really want to talk about from this game, from what I saw, because I thought it was absolutely outstanding, was the Tui Lola here kick chase on Liam Kay that pinned him in goal from like miles away. He came from miles away to do that, and I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah, well, it was good enough to be on the highlights, so that says something when a defensive effort is like that. I mean, are we calling it that Salford are safe now? Is that official now, do we reckon?
I think so. It's 4 wins, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's far more than somebody will get. But yeah, I mean, Wakey got off to a good start, but yeah, Salford just seemed to hang in it, and as I say, they got level, and Wakefield did that killer thing by taking a penalty to get the lead back, and we all know how successful that usually is. But yeah, Salford took their chances, and yeah, they're looking down on more teams than they were before. So I'm sure they'll be very happy with that win.
Yeah, and for the standings, that means top place Catalan are on 92% ahead of St Helens on 83 and Warrington on 73. Hull FC are on 68%, then Wigan, who have played all their games, 64%. Hull KR are still on 60% in 6th. Leeds are on 45%, Cass 42%, and Salford on 30%. Wakefield, who've also played all their games, are on 28% in 10th, with Huddersfield on 21% and Lee on 0%. That's the bottom two. Stat line of the week is going to have to be Liam Farrell, isn't it? Went both ways.
We've obviously got very limited stats. I didn't expect you to pick anything else.
What do you mean, limited stats? 43 tackles and 175 metres.
No, I mean in terms of like other matches. Just for variety, I'm going to go with Sam Cassiano with plenty of tackle busts and metres and getting a try.
Well, I was going to say Sam Cassiano might have been a shout for Player of the Week if we're just looking at the Super League games, because I think he was amazing. I think his first real intervention was a break. Didn't quite come to out, but I thought he was amazing in that game. But really, we need to revert to the main games, don't we, to talk about Player of the Week?
I think so. I'm going to combine my star player and highlight moments because my star player is now levelled and the highlight is that try. I would struggle to pick anything else, I would say.
Oh yeah, that try undoubtedly is the try of the week in every legitimate poll that will be decided upon. Just to sort of give a different feel, I'll say Evalds and Roby tie as my player of the week. Tie second behind Liam Farrell. Okay. In terms of the
I thought you were being diplomatic then, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. So there you go.
Just a bit of humour tagged on the end. I went 3 out of 5 last week. Sarah went 4 out of 5 in the Super Brew. Alan, you're top. David is second, but he holds the spoon this week. Scoops is in third. I'm wearing the cap, and I'm up to 4th. I'm off the bottom. Tim falls to the bottom. in the main Super